great to be here. I have to say that while today has been very interesting, I had a much more interesting plane ride down here. Our plane was delayed in San Francisco, and there was nearly a riot. I was looking around the plane and feeling very insecure about my physical looks. Everybody on the plane was extremely good looking, and it looked like they came out of a TV show. And what ended up happening after the plane was delayed and sent back to the gate, and we were on the tarmac for 2 hours because of a mechanical issue, was that I started talking to all the people that were sitting next to me. And they are all here for the adult video trade show. And it's really challenging when you start saying what you do for a living. And we talked scale, we talked speed, and we talked frequency of viewing. Those are the things we had in common. So I always like to start off a presentation with where I've been. So all of you know who Google is. I like to do this just because I think it's interesting to sort of see where people are in the room. How many people use YouTube? Oh, that's pretty impressive for devices in healthcare. Just a guess, how many hours of videos do you think gets loaded a minute on YouTube? Just yell it out.
30.
30?
7,000.
No, this is hours a minute. Hours of video a minute. 7,000, that would be a lot of hours. Anything else? All right, it's 13 hours every minute gets posted. So this is the equivalent of 57,000 new feature films released a day. So I just like to start off with that because I think when we're talking about personal health records or consumer tools that enable consumers to do things that are going to help them with their health care, it's nice to have a reference point, right? We're already seeing consumers that are totally activated in other areas. And we keep asking ourselves, why aren't they activated around healthcare? Well, many of you have all the answers, and so can I postulate. But I think it's an interesting thing to look at. So let's just start off a little bit with the next slide, which is kind of underscores what I've been talking about. I have to do this, don't I? Yes, I do. Okay, so just to be clear, everybody knows that people go online to diagnose themselves, and I just want to state outright that Google is not trying to play doctor, even though there's been several articles written on the fact that Google's the new MD. I think this is something that you've all probably done, right? You diagnose yourself and you basically just want a second opinion when you go see your doctor. I think it's interesting to bring up because this is the trend of consumerism, and let me talk a little bit about just some numbers. So this is wrong. There are 220 million adults in the U.S., but there's more like 300. But there's about 178 million online, and about 116 are, online for health specifically. And you can see the comparison. 71 million are online, particularly for RX information. We see that as a very big trend. So just a little bit more on stats for you guys. If you see that 80% of Americans have used the internet for health advice, and what we're learning is that 66% are starting with search, and they usually go to more than one site. We're seeing a much higher trend of physicians actually recommending websites to their patients, sites that they think are more medically relevant or medically accurate or even personalized to their disorder. And I know many people say that their doctors complain when they walk in with 20 pages of research, but actually a lot of the survey data that we've conducted state that physicians are in fact finding a positive trend. And then of course many of you heard about the boomers, and our friends from ARP have a lot of data on this, but essentially if we're looking at a population that's going to double, we're also seeing that this age group, about 67% are actually using a search engine for health advice, so we're almost in a similar bar here. And 19% are receiving e-newsletters, whether they're subscribing to a particular medicine or they're wanting content caregiving. So this is a big trend as well.